Welcome back to another Pokemon Falling Friday, home of the OG weekly market updates, where every Friday morning we go through last week's sales of sealed Pokemon products and Pokemon cards that are currently going down in price. And we do also cover any big Pokemon news and cards and sets that get revealed. And we do have to do the question of the day: what Pokemon do you guys like better, Kyogre or Groudon? And there is a correct answer in my opinion, but I am extremely biased. And we do have to give a quick thanks to our video sponsor real quick, and that is Platinum Protectors. If you guys need cases for any type of collectible, Platinum Protectors have got you covered. They got cases for action figures, comic books, diecast, Funko Pops, trading cards, and video games. When it comes to trading cards, they have so many different options. They got Lorcana, One Piece, they got Japanese Pokemon. They got the nice acrylic cases, or they got the really cheap ones that are just a couple dollars a case. And then too, if you click my link in the description, you'll get 10% off your first order of $50 or more. And if you guys want to try PSA for your first time, click the link, use the code BEARD25, you'll get $25 off. And if you guys want to try out Tag for your first time, click the link, use the code BEARD10, you'll get 10% off. And I will be vending in Chicago, May 1st to the 3rd at Trading Card Con. You can use the code POKEBEARD and you'll get $5 off your tickets. Let's get into it. We got Astral Radiance Booster Box. This was at $390. Now last sold $350, $320, $348, and $351. Decent amount of sales. We're getting a few boxes per day. Next, we have Battle Styles. This is at $268. Now last sold $260, $250, $259, $265, $245, and $252. And we have the Surging Sparks Booster Box. This is at $278. Now last sold $243, $239, $200, $200, $200. So these 200 sales are definitely what's bringing the price down a ton. We got a bunch at $206 here too. Next, we have the 151 UPC. This got up to $1,052. Dropped down to $944. Back up to $1,000. Now last sold $910, $899, $902, $915. Then it goes to $986, $995. Let's see, we can get it shipped for $909 from a legit seller. Tons of sales, 99%. Next, we have the regular Perfect Order ETB. This is at $139. Now last sold $69, $64. I mean, that's super, super close to MSRP. Next, we have the Perfect Order Pokemon Center ETB. Leveling out right around $130. Next, we have the Prismatic ETB, was at $211. Now last sold $169, $165. Pretty much most of them are at $169. And it's going to start bouncing back now soon, in my opinion. I think it'll be like $180 in the next week or two. Next, we got some cards. We got the Talonflame illustration from Perfect Order. So it's at $11. Now last sold $2, $325. Most of them are about $2 or $3. And the Rowlet from Perfect Order. This was at $20. Now last sold $5, $7, and $6. Next, we have the Dracloak from Ascended Heroes. Still dropping. Was at $38. Now last sold $13. We got 4 of them at $18, but most of them are between $10 to $12. Next, we have the Dreepy. Same exact thing. Now last sold $14. One high one at $21, but most of them are about $13 to $14. Next, we have the Erika's Tangela, and I apologize, I do have a stuffy nose. My daughter got sick, and I got the little cold. But this card was at $33. Now last sold $22, $24, $27. I think this card is super, super nice. Next, we have the Team Rocket's Meowth. This thing kind of went crazy. Got up to $36. Now last sold $29, $26, $23, and $30. And we have the Dragonair from 151. Got up to about $55. Now last sold $43, $42. A couple sold at $55, but most of them are in the mid-40s. Next, we have the Haunter promo, was at $63. This also recently went crazy. Now last sold $53, $54, $59, and $55. Next, we have the Charmeleon. Illustration rare was over $100. Now last sold $68, $90, $75, $72, $71. And we have the Pikachu from 151, just coming down in price a little bit. This was almost at about $90. Now last sold $87, $82, $74, $74, $73, $75. Next, we have the Iris's Fighting Spirit from Ascended. This was at $118 on release. Now last sold $42, $37, $39, $38. Tons of sales in the high 30s now. Next, we have the Enzora from Journey Together. This got up to about $56. Now last sold $52, $46, $39, $51, $45. And we have the Mega Kangaskhan coming down in price a little bit. Was at about $58, went up to $65. Now last sold $60, $61, $59, $47, and $45. Next, we have the Iono's Belly Bolt from Ascended Heroes. This is at $164. Kind of leveled out right around $80. Now last sold $70, $69, $65. Next, we have the Mega Starmie from Perfect Order. This was at 86, dropped down to 75, went back up to 87. Now last sold 72, 73, and 75. Next, the Alakazam from 151 was at $93. We now have sales at 72. One high one at 106. Otherwise, the rest of them are right around $75. And we have the Mega Zygarde SIR. Was at $148. Now last sold 90, 89, 108, 97, and 86 for lightly played. And then we got the Big Blastoise. Was at 221. Now last sold 150, 148. Bunch at 150, kind of leveling out right around there. And I feel like that's a pretty solid price for that card, in my opinion. Next, we have the Meowth SIR. It's at 160, dropped down to 140, went up to 180, then dropped down to about 149. Now it's up a few dollars right now at about $155. Next, we have the Eevee EX from Prismatic Evolutions, when you actually have to pull. This was at $115 forever. Then it randomly shot up to $195. Now that's sold 187, 145, 150, 180, 175. So prices are kind of all over the place. Next, jump into some promos. We have the Turtwig Mega Evolution promo. This is at $12. Now that's sold 8. We got one high one at 11 and 10, but most of them are at 7 and 8. Was at $11. Now last sold 6 and 7. Next, we have the Chimchar. This was at $10. Now last sold 7 and 6 and 9. Next, we have the Poplio. Still dropping. Was at $7.96. Now last sold $4.50, $7.93, $5.90, $6.50. Very happy to see that, and I hope these get really cheap. Next, we have the Rowlet. It's got up to $15. Now last sold 7 and 6. Next, we have the Dragapult, and obviously the Kanto starters, they're not coming down in price right now. We have the Dragapult Prime card. This is a Celebrations 25th Anniversary promo. This got up to like $17. Now last sold. We got a bunch of low ones here at like 8 or 9, but then we got one at 14, 12, 15, 13. Let's see what we can get this one shipped for from a legit seller. So about $14, so it's down a few bucks. Next, we have that new Gengar GameStop promo. This thing went wild, went up to $122. Now last sold 88, 98, 104. I would never, ever buy this card for $100. That is just insane to me. Next, we have the Mewtwo IR promo. This got up to $58. Now last sold 49, 49, 45. And we have the Espeon VMAX alternate art. So it's over $300. Now last sold 270, 245. Couple still at $299, but a ton in the mid 200s. Such a nice card for that price. Next, we have some older stuff here. We have the Mega Alakazam EX from Fates Collide. This is at about $25. Now last sold 14, 16, and 15. This happens every time. You know, we were getting megas, so all the megas went crazy, but now megas are here. So a lot of the older ones are going to start, coming down in price and leveling out because, the excitement is now over a little bit. Next, we have the Mega Kangaskhan from XY Flashfire. This is at $14, went all the way up to $30. Now last sold 19, 20, 16, 17. And we have the Mega Mewtwo EX from Breakthrough. This was at $44. Started at $26. And now last sold 33, 28. So almost coming back to its original price before it got hyped up. Next, we have the Mega Mewtwo EX. This is the Y version, and this is the actual textured one. This was at $84, got up to $172. Now last sold 140, 147, 150. So that's down just like 20, 25 bucks. And we have the other one, the other textured Mega Mewtwo. This was at $87 also, got up to 140. Now last sold 121, 129, 135. Most right about 120. And we have some of the best promos we've ever gotten that are coming down in price. We have the Pikachu and Zekrom Tag Team GX promo. So if we check the 1 year high, it was at $199. Now last sold 140, 152, 145, 147. And last on the list, we had the Reshiram and Charizard GX Tag Team promo. This card is pretty crazy. This got up to $180. Now last sold 130, 135 with pictures that says near mint. One high sale at $199, but most of them are between $120 to $140. So definitely dropping in price a little bit. But all right, that was this week's Pokemon Falling Friday. If you guys like this content and want to stay ahead of the market, please make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a like and comment. If you guys want to support more, you guys can check out my Instagram, my TikTok, Facebook, YouTube membership, all that. You guys know what to do. You guys are the absolute best. Right, aren't you guys have a great day? And if you guys want to watch some of my vending content, I made an entire playlist that has every single one of my vending videos. It would really mean a ton if you guys could go watch those. Click that right here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.